Welcome to the template integration of the OG main menu system with the third-person shooter kit version 2.1. In the following, I'm going to guide you through each step you need to take to create a project of these two templates combined. Just as a disclaimer, the third-person shooter kit as of version 2.1 does not support multiplayer. However, if you choose that you want the project to be multiplayer compatible, you could edit the third-person shooter kit code to support multiplayer. The OG main menu system multiplayer code would already be in place. Before diving deep into the guide, first let's take a look at how the finished combination of both templates will look like. Alright, so the first step we need to take is to create a project for each of these two templates. I'm going to begin with the third-person shooter kit. Let's choose the latest version compatible, which is 5.5, and give it a cool name. Third-person shooter kit OG main menu system. Alright, that sounds good. Create. Let's just wait a few seconds until it's finished. Verify. Okay. So, now let's continue with the OG main menu system. Create, and it's important to choose the same version. So 5.5. And the name of this project isn't as important because it will just be used to migrate its content to the third-person shooter kit project we've just created. Now let's continue by opening up the third-person shooter kit project we've just created. And the first thing we need to make inside the editor is to go into the plugins tab. You can find it here under Edit Plugins, and search for Common UI. We need to enable this plugin, yes, and restart the editor. Alright, now that we are back inside, we have to go to Project Settings, here under Edit Project Settings, go to Engine, General Settings, that's here, and search for Game Viewport Client class. Okay, we have to change it from Game Viewport Client to Common Game Viewport Client, and need to restart again. Okay, so for now we need to go to the OG main menu system project we've created, so we're finished here. So inside the OG main menu system project, we need to migrate the OG main menu folder entirely to the third-person shooter kit project. migrate. Alright, okay. And let's find the project. Okay, here it is. We need to migrate it to the content folder. And just wait for it to finish. Okay, once it's finished, we need to close the OG in main menu project because we are finished here now. And don't save. And instead go into the Explorer, into the third person shooter kit project we've created, into the U project, and open it up with the node editor. Okay. And here we have to delete this part. In target platforms, Windows, no editor. Delete it, save. And close it again, and now we can open it up. Back inside the editor, we need to do a few adjustments to the project settings. So, here to edit project settings, and let's search for game common input settings. The input data needs to be set to BP input data. The enable enhanced input support and allow autofocus device input need to be enabled. Also, we need to disable the enable default input config because it prevents the set input mode nodes from working correctly. Now expand platform input, Windows and default, and set the default input type to mouse and keyboard if yours is different. Also set the default gamepad name to generic. Then expand the controller data and create one element each for these 5 blueprints. Let's begin with keyboard mouse. Then we do Xbox One, Xbox X, Series X, PS4 and PS5. Great. Now let's continue to the modes, maps and modes. Here we have to set the editor startup map to main menu. We can just search for it and make sure to select the one by the OG main menu and not the one by the third person shooter kit. Okay, so main menu. The same goes to the game default map, main menu, and inside advanced we have a transition map here. Here also set the transition map value to it. Alright, now let's search for game instance. We have to set the game instance class to BP game instance. And now we can continue with engine rendering. Alright, so here inside the default settings section we need, let's just find the default settings section first. Here. Okay, inside the default settings section we need to enable extend default luminance range in auto exposure settings. And yeah, after all these changes we've made, we can restart the editor now for all changes to take effect. Right, so after opening up the project again, you might have noticed that the main menu map looks a bit darker than usual, and that's because of differences in the rendering settings. However, to not mess with the third-person shooter kit rendering settings, just increase the intensity of the lights in the scene if you want. Yeah, like these 5 here, and preferably also the 5 there on the right side for the character selection screen. Now let's continue with edits again inside the project settings. Go to Engine, User Interface, and set the render focus rule to never. Here, render focus rule to never. Next, we need to continue with adding a few gameplay tags. For this, we need to go to Project and Gameplay Tags and Manage Gameplay Tags. Alright, these will go into the UI section. We have to press on this button here on the right side, the arrow, and add subtag. We have to add 5 gameplay tags in total. And these will go into the base tag section. So that's basically one. Oh, okay. You need to select the default gameplay tags dot INI source for it to work. And yeah, now it's created. Here we need to add 4 subtags, which are game UI, menu, and modal. Okay, let's close this window now and go to Engine and Audio. Here we have to set the SCM sound mix to the default bass sound mix. Make sure that default sound class and default media sound class are set to mix master. These are all changes we need to make to the project settings for now. So let's close it up.